Excel on the beat.
I worked as a developer scratch for multiple projects, multiple clients. Currently, I'm working in New York, one of the investment firms, and I'm there as a head of QA for their all mobile app and web app. Currently, we are like team of eight SDETs, which we handle the automation for front end testing, back end testing for front end for web and mobile, and back end is back end. So all that we do. Um, so that's a basic intro about myself. About you guys, I'm sure one by one, if you go, that might be, it might consume all the session. So let's do it in this way. Um, how many of you has already done the automation of some kind or any programming knowledge of some kind? Anyone? Michael has already spoken that he knows, but how about others?
Yes, I have experience with JavaScript and React.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So then you will find whatever we're gonna do today very easy. So that's great. Great thing to know. Smitha is saying in the chat that she knows some Selenium and Python. Oh, that's awesome. So that's nice. Indra knows JavaScript, Python, React. Oh, wow. Very nice. All right. So I can see quite developers learning QA now. Great. Okay. So others, because you guys are not replying, I can assume that it is no automation, or sorry, no coding experience. Cool, not a big deal. Jason, if you're trying to speak, you are getting a lot of background noise.
Hold on.
Okay, so now let's start with whatever we wanted to do today. So in today's workshop, basically what I'm trying to show you some sample about what the automation is all about and how do we do automation and so on, right? So in order to, before doing any automation of a test case, there has to be a manual test case. And in order to understand the manual test case, or in order to write down a manual test case, somebody has to review what are the requirements for a particular feature. And in order to test that feature, we write multiple test cases. Now, once the test case is done, or once the test case is written, now it is up to the engineer. Do they want to automate so that in future they don't need to take the pain of doing all the steps manually, or they would want to have that pain to do all the steps manually? That's up to them. Okay, so that's the basic thing about the automation. Sometimes people think that automation is going to replace manual and all that. That's never going to be the case. The what only going to be is just that the manual engineer work will be lightened up by doing the automation, and so that they can focus on something uh, more important, or better QA practices, all right, or writing better test cases in order to test a particular functionality. All right. Now, um, I'm sure all of like those who mentioned they have experiences. So in order to do so, whenever any software is going to be created, it always go over this cycle: planning, analysis, design, implementation, testing, and maintenance. But when we are talking about the planning stage, actually, why I'm bringing this topic up here, because before the planning also something happens which mostly people either don't know if they have no IT experience, or nobody tell them when they are learning about these things. So what happens is in the planning, now think about like you are building a house. So whichever contractor you have hired and everything, whatever you have told the contractor, according to what, based on your discussion, the contractor will create a plan, right? That okay, based on my customer need, first we should do this, we should dig out the basement, then we should um, pull up a structure or then add a foundation for this much strength or so on. So basically that is all the planning stage. But before the contractor starts working, what happens before that? You tell the contractor that hey, this is what we want and this is how I want in my house. This is should this kind of should be the wall, this kind of should be the height of a basement or anything like that, right? That is known as the requirements. Okay, so now what, based on the requirements, what contractor is doing, he is planning. Okay, and then based on the planning he analyze what things are required in order to make a house of this kind. Okay, that's something we have to understand. Sorry. Cool. So that's about the planning and analysis stage. And once the planning and analysis is done, a basic drawing of a house will be drawn. And the example I'm giving for the house so that hopefully we all can relate, but same thing can be done for the software as well. So a design basically is being created, uh, and then there is the actual development happens on the stage 4. So based on the planning or based on the analysis, right, based on step 3 and step 2, the developer will write a code so that the software will look like this and software will work like this, whatever is mentioned in the analysis. Okay. All right. So what a tester is going to do? Tester is going to test that whatever software developed by the developer looks like this and works like this. Okay. So basic job of a QA engineer is to basically test that developer has made the software as per the design and as per the requirements. That's the basic job of a QA engineer. And in order to test something like that, they have to write down multiple scenarios and so on. That is the pretty much thing about just wait a minute. That is a pretty much crux of job of a QA engineer. Okay. All right, guys. Let me sorry, I have to pause for a minute because I'm getting messages from my team to give you guys this link. So there is a link, guys, in the chat in which you guys just need to, the application works as expected in every situation. That is the main thing. Okay. Now, when the test cases are defined or test cases are written, then probably QA engineer makes a decision. Should we automate this or should we just keep it manual? And every time we just manually do all the steps in order to verify, or we just write down the code so that code will do all the steps and we just need to click a button to uh, start the testing. That's all about in the automation. Okay. Oh, sorry, the QA. My bad. Cool. Now, QA testing in terms of there is a lot of responsibility happened with QA because as a QA engineer, the entire responsibility lies on this team. Like this team is the one which is doing the quality assurance. So they have, if they have verified, if this team has verified, that means most likely there is no problem in this particular application or in this particular feature. Okay. And during the testing, we have to write down like several documentation just to keep it just in case. And uh, so all these are called like we create test plan, test execution documents, test report, regression report, and all these different kind of documentations and stages we have in order to just make sure that everything works as expected. Okay. Coming to this automation part, like I said, whatever the test case is, instead of doing it manually, we can write down a code so that this code will run, or this code will do all the steps. Okay. And now we as a QA, we are simply going to press start, and it will start running all the test cases, and we can just sit and do something fruitful while all that is happening. Okay. And these days, the good part is that even after the test cases are done, a report gets generated. I mean, not automatically, of course. We can generate a test report, and that can be useful in order to create your uh, test report. And you want to submit the report to some team members or senior management, and they can clearly see like how many test cases got executed, what is the status of every ticket, every test case, and so on. Okay. So what is failing, what is passing, and so now the next basically slide that we have is judging about the programming languages. Now this particular slide is only and only from our point of view, based on our research, based on the requirements. So we are getting requirements in our teams, in our company, and we are quite familiar what is the latest technologies companies are using, what programming languages they are using or they want to use, and they are migrating, and so on. So based on the feedback from our plus the research, uh, we we all came out this that mostly the JavaScript is the programming language which is in demand more than any other language as of now. Okay. So currently the course also that we have is using the JavaScript, doing the automation. I'll show you some code examples also in this class. Okay. Um, all right. So let's see any particular test case first. There is a normal test case. It says verify user is able to see the current temperature. Okay. And let me open the code for you. So in a normal sense, the test case looks like this. And if I have to do it manually, how will I do? Let me open this window. I just need to go to, let's say, for example, CNN weather. Okay. It simply says enter so and so in the enter location field. So let's enter. Okay. And click on forecast button, which I did. And I just need to verify that it is in between these two values. So I can see that this number is in between 30 and the 90. Now I can do this particular step manually anytime we want, right? There is no much pain in this, but understand if you have to do this particular test case every day, first it will be boring for you. Second, because maybe you're not paying attention or you're not doing the right stuff, or maybe you forget someday. Automation is that you just need to code once, and then every time you want, you just need to click a button, and that will execute all the test case that you want. Okay, just one, just two, just five, any number of test cases you want, all that can be executed. So that's the help of the automation in the QA job, that whatever the test cases you have an option to run this by automation. Is this clear? Awesome. As of now, anyone having any question?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Good. Okay. So now, in order to automate the test cases, what happens is there is one framework which is very common and famous, which is, let me introduce you with this one, something called Cucumber framework. Okay. And what this Cucumber framework is all about, Cucumber framework says that whatever the test cases that you have, write in this particular format, like given, when, then, and so on, right? And given means like something you want to, like a setup for your project, for your test case. When are nothing but some actions that you want to do in the test case, and then are the steps which you want to verify in your test case. Okay, so you need to write down anything like that, and that's it. And whenever you want to run your test case, let me just give you some example. Let's say, for example, if I just run this one command, and you see this command is doing all that steps for me. It is launching weather CNN.com, and let's see if it will do the next steps. So while it is running, you can see it is spinning. The whole thing is that I don't even need to do anything from this stage. I can do whatever I want, and everything is just done in a second. You see, all these steps are being verified in no time. Okay, first step got passed, second step got passed, third step got passed, fourth step got passed. And now, just for the sake of telling you guys, instead of 11715, anyone has any zip code in mind? Let's say 117, no, let's say 35820 something. I'm hoping this is the zip code of some place. Okay, now if I run my test case, and here we go. So you see, from the currently we are coming from New Jersey. Okay, let me slow down the test case so that you guys can see everything. Once I will slow this down, let me show you this part. So what happens is, behind the scenes, every line is connected with a piece of code. So because of this line, a specific piece of code is getting executed. Because of this line, a specific piece of code is getting executed, and so on. And that is what we want based on the automation. Okay. All right. So as an automation engineer, this is what we want to do for our automation part. Okay, I am on home page, and now let me just show you which code is running behind the scenes. So currently what is happening, let me expand this in this way, like that. Okay, so because of this line of code, I am on forecast homepage. We are executing this particular test case. Okay, oh, sorry, not test case, sorry, this particular piece of code. And what this piece of code is doing, it is navigating to this particular URL. Okay, and then we are doing when we are checking that, okay, are we on the right page or not? Okay, because of this line, I entered something into the enter location. Because of that, this piece of code is running. Okay, I can show you in the this way. So this piece of code is running like that. Okay, and because I clicked on forecast button, so this piece of code is running, and for the last line, this piece of code is running. That's the main thing about these lines. Now, how these lines are connected and all that, of course, we will talk about that, but um, that's the use of Cucumber framework, that from the front side, if I just close this, so from the front, it looks like a normal English language. Okay, so anybody can write down these steps or these Cucumber test cases. And then as an automation engineer, we will attach a code behind every line so that for every line, a piece of code can be executed. Okay, does it make sense to all? Okay, now let's say, for example, let's do some other verification. Before I plan something else, let me check few things. Okay, so all right, let's try to do some other test case. Now, let's say when it comes to the Facebook, I'm sure we all are familiar with facebook.com. If I ask you to verify that on this particular page, there are 46 links, how will you verify that? Manually, how can you verify that? Is it easy to verify it manually, or you think it's not that easy? It's a cumbersome task. What do you guys think? According to me, it's not that easy. The only thing why I think it is not easy, because I have to count until 46, and maybe during the counting I make some mistake or something, so that can disturb the entire test case. And writing 46 links, like this is one link, second link, third link, fourth link, fifth link, I don't know how many, 46 count, try to find all the links and counting them, it's too cumbersome. But if we automate that,
Can you do
it
can
will
you
be
do
very
something like maybe set them into an array and run it through a loop or something?
but then what I'm trying to say is you have to write down a piece of code, correct? Okay.
Well, you'd have to write the code once, right? And then you can loop through it. Is that possible?
Definitely. That is, but the whole thing is doing the counting manually, it's very time taking and boring. That's what I'm trying to say. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so therefore we are going to do a code so that this code can find all the links and verify that, okay, are these 46 or not? Okay, now as English language, can I say, given I am on Facebook homepage, and once I'm on Facebook homepage, then I verify number of links is 46. if I write only this much, does these two steps make sense? Right? Okay. Now, behind this line, what code I should write? It should do what?
It should open up the Facebook page.
It should open up the Facebook page. Very nice. So now, in order to open the Facebook page, let's write down a code which can do it. So let's say I do given, and whatever I'm writing currently, please, if you are not getting that, it's fine. I will explain that in 1 sec. Okay, and I am on Facebook homepage. Yeah, oops. All right, so what happened here in the automation in the WebDriver IO, there is a function called URL, and this function can open any website, whatever you mention over here. Okay, so let me just say FP1. All right, so behind this line, I have written a code that can launch a blank window, and on that it will launch the facebook.com URL. Okay, after that I would like to get all the links I think Michael, you are a full stack developer. You will see on this particular website, all the links are going to have a tag. Okay, any link, it is actually a link because it is a tag. Okay, so if I say how many a tags are there, that means links should be present, because link is nothing but equal to a tag. Okay, so that a Chrome window or a blank Chrome window started. Okay, that means if this is coming in your log, that means your browser is coming up. Okay, or the browser has started. Now on that browser, you are starting this particular window. Okay, which is cnn.com/weather. Now if this command will fail,